Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me and allowing me to continue to be your daily advocate. If you're new here or you're not subscribed for any reason, please do me a huge favor and hit the subscribe button. Thank you to all of you who have been watching and following me for so long. It truly means a lot, and I'm glad that I can be this person.
Courtesy of James K. Filan, we have 3 documents from the set of items unsealed for us to be able to view. So again, Judge Torres just recently issued an order saying the documents were to be unsealed for public view here. And we have a notice for Brad Garlinghouse regarding his deposition with the SEC in their formal investigation in 2020. This predates the filing of the SEC's suit against Ripple, Garlinghouse, and Larson. So it's earlier in that same year. So we'll look and see what they were trying to get out of him. Then we have a Brad Garlinghouse email that was sent out, appears to be a sort of all hands email that went out to Ripple employees. And then finally, there's a Chris Larson email string. Now, the Larson email string appears to be with an individual investor, and we would maybe look at that in a different video if you're interested. It's lengthy. It's about 6 pages of just email back and forth, and it's a little bit more personal, and it's also a lot to comprehend. So if you want to hear the Larson email string in detail, I think that would take an entire video to talk about by itself. Let me know in the comments below. Again, if you're interested in the Larson emails, comment down below, and then maybe we can address that in a future video. But for now, we're just going to focus on the Garlinghouse 2 exhibits that were unsealed. So the first one here is the SEC letter that is going to be the subpoena, where it's requesting that he provide information for them in their investigation here, and the process that they're going through as they're trying to determine whether or not they want to file suit here. So you can see this letter is dated February 18th of 2020. So that is at the very beginning of 2020. Remember, the case was filed in December of 2020, right at the end of the year. This says the enclosed subpoena requires your client appear for testimony on April 2nd. So they're giving him about a month and a half notice. And it says requires your client to produce documents to the SEC by March 6th. So if you look back in time, that is a very short time frame, February 18th. Remember, short month, right? So you've only got, now I know that was a leap year, I think, right? So you got 11 days in that month and then 6 days in March. So under 3 weeks to put all this documentation together. Within the subpoena here, it's just saying that they have to scan and produce hard copies. They have to provide the electronic documents and all these things, all the things that they need as part of this documentation within, again, a very condensed time frame. This request is sent over to Matthew Solomon and to Brad Garlinghouse, and you can see here a lot of definitions behind what's going on. Now, here is the actual subpoena itself from the SEC, again, talking about when the documents have to be produced and when he has to appear to testify in New York in person in 2020 there. The definitions, and then here we're just going to skip by what they define everything as because it's just laying out some clarifying items. But this is what he had to produce, and so this is interesting for us to see here at least. They wanted from Brad Garlinghouse documents sufficient to identify all purchases or sales of XRP by you, meaning Garlinghouse, including but not limited to any over-the-counter transactions or through any digital asset platform or exchange. Then all account opening documents or user information for all accounts identified in connection with that first item, so any of those transactions. So anytime he opened an account or provided any information in order to do so, they wanted that in addition to the transaction detail. Then documents sufficient to identify any XRP provided to you, again, Garlinghouse, in connection with employment at Ripple Labs or any of its predecessors during the period from January 1st, 2012 to the present, so again, February of 2020 when this was sent, so 8 years worth of XRP transactions between the company or companies and Brad Garlinghouse. And then documents sufficient to identify all digital currency wallet addresses over which you, Garlinghouse, exercise or have exercised control or maintain or have maintained the private keys, including but not limited to any wallet address maintained on your behalf by any third-party digital asset platform or exchange. So really interesting there. They were digging deep into all of his digital asset history and transactions. Now I just scrolled to the bottom here so you can see everything else here is just further definitions and uses, Freedom of Information Act information, perjury, false statements, all that good stuff. So these are the documents that had to be provided. So again, all transaction history of XRP that he made, all of the accounts that were opened, all of the XRP he received from the company, and all documents to identify his digital wallets. So every wallet he had or had a third-party custody for him. So really heavy digging into Brad Garlinghouse there. So you can see that all of this, again, predated the case and the charges against Ripple, the company, and against Garlinghouse himself specifically. Now, the second document here pertaining to Garlinghouse is a little different. Remember, the one we just looked at was coming from the SEC. This one, again, is Brad Garlinghouse addressing what appears to be the company or employees at Ripple. So here, and investors. So this is addressed from Brad Garlinghouse. Again, he's copied all the individuals who needed to receive this. And it's called Ripple's May Investor and Advisor Update. This is referring to May of 2017. So this was Exhibit G that was filed under seal and now is public. You can see he included photos here of Ripple's reception lobby and the front desk, the entryway and the boardroom and the all hands area, in addition to the full memo here. So the picture is probably not as important for us here, but this is the content of the letter that he sent out that is included here in the case. So there must be something in here that the SEC found interesting enough for this to be included in the lawsuit. So here we go. Hi everyone. I wanted to share a couple of notable events that took place in May that symbolize how we're doing. First, we moved into our new headquarters in San Francisco, marking a milestone in our maturation as a company. Our new home represents the fruits of our continued labor in shipping market-leading products and driving real customer adoption. I hope you have a chance to visit us soon. In the meantime, see the pictures below. Secondly, just last week, more than 20 Ripplers, including me, had a very successful showing at Consensus, the biggest blockchain conference of the year. One of our company objectives is to build liquidity for the digital asset XRP so banks and payment providers can use it to significantly lower the costs of their cross-border payments. Our primary goal at Consensus was to advance deals with digital asset exchanges and payment providers that will build XRP liquidity and payment volume. Mission accomplished, both leading into the event and coming out of the event. We continue to have great momentum in adding exchanges and payment service providers as Ripple partners. I came away from the show not only feeling good about our deal progress, but also our market position, our leadership and maturity in shipping enterprise-ready products, signing commercial contracts with customers, and grounding XRP in a real use case made us stand out head and shoulders above everyone else in the world of blockchain. We entered the show with the wind at our backs, having lined up a series of good news for XRP that would make our conversations at Consensus as productive as possible. We proactively addressed two key objections to XRP, publishing our plans to further decentralize the XRP ledger and announcing our commitment to lock up the lion's share of our XRP in a cryptographically secured escrow account by the end of 2017. Despite a proven track record of being good stewards of XRP, we had continued to hear concerns in the market that Ripple could, hypothetically, sell our 61 billion XRP at any time, a scenario that would certainly be bad for Ripple. So with the decision to lock up 55 billion XRP in escrow, we have given investors a predictable supply schedule and removed what skeptics have suggested has been a barrier to broad XRP adoption. Suffice it to say, the XRP ecosystem responded very positively to the news. The bottom line is that we are committed to making XRP the best digital asset for payments. While I can't predict future market dynamics, this is a very exciting time for us as the market is recognizing XRP's real use case: liquidity for cross-border payments and technical superiority compared to other digital assets. This recognition has translated into significant improvements in both the liquidity, trading volume, and price of XRP. We saw nearly $6 billion in trading volume in May alone, and XRP is now hovering around 30 cents, up approximately 500% in the last 30 days and over 5,000% from the beginning of 2017. As a result, XRP has overtaken Ethereum as the current number 2 digital asset by market cap and even eclipsed Bitcoin on more than one occasion. In fact, factoring in the roughly $18 billion worth of XRP we own, Ripple is worth more than all but 4 US startups: Uber, Airbnb, Palantir, and WeWork. This gives us a tremendous advantage in the marketplace to leverage this strength in a multitude of ways with the underlying vision of enabling an internet of value. As always, feel free to reach out with your perspectives or questions. Best, Brad. So really good information contained in this email. So as we glean info out of it, it seems like perhaps what the SEC might be trying to pull from here is the fact that he says, and it's even highlighted here, is further decentralize the XRP ledger. I would imagine maybe the SEC is trying to say, well, if you're trying to decentralize the XRP ledger here in 2017, you are thereby saying it was centralized, and maybe they want to twist those words and try and use that against Ripple. That would be my inkling in my first pass through this. And then the other thing that perhaps the SEC might not like here is the discussion around the escrow, and the conversation around that maybe might be made by the SEC that is an indicator of centralization in the past, or that perhaps this is why they think that it is a security, or an unregistered security at that. But if you note what Garlinghouse has said in the document here, it's very consistent with even the messaging now, where internet of value is always what they talk about, and talking about cross-border payments and liquidity. That's the same discussions that are being had in 2022: on-demand liquidity, cross-border payments, helping to transfer value across the globe. That's the selling proposition that the company has, and it's what they've always marketed this as. Whereas the SEC had argued that Ripple had no use case identified for XRP. Here, going back to 17, you can see in this communication. So this may even be beneficial for Ripple to further argue their side that, hey, even before the Hinman speech, even before you started investigating Garlinghouse or Ripple the company, we had previously said in a published document here that was distributed out to investors and employees that, hey, this is what we intend to do. This is the purpose and use case. So I will be very interested to see how this relates to the various arguments made in future discussions from the SEC perspective, and of course from that Ripple side, and how Matthew Solomon may bring this back in his defense for Brad Garlinghouse. So a lot still to come out of these documents. Now, the Larson document, again, I'll just pull it up here. You can see this is a very specific thread to addressed here to Carlos, no last name, but Carlos was asking Brad Garlinghouse, or not Brad Garlinghouse, Chris Larson, some targeted questions around XRP, and Larson is going back and forth and explaining things to him.
So enjoy your day, everybody. I'm always here for you. Leave any comments or questions below, and be sure to subscribe. But thanks, everybody. I really appreciate you. Enjoy your day, and I always have your back. So thanks so much, everybody.